Hi, I am going to teach you how to get the volume of a sphere. So a sphere is a perfectly round three-dimensional shape, like a ball, globe, or a bubble. Now every point on the surface of that cube, it's not going to be pretty, sorry. Every point is going to be the same distance from the center. So this is the center, and every direction that I go is going to be the same distance, which is called the radius. Now, some examples in our classroom would be maybe that basketball or the soccer ball or the orange or a marble. And since I'm hungry, let's say maybe a lollipop or a peach or even a perfect scoop of ice cream. Now, I watched this video without words that was remarkable, and I want to share it with you to better understand why it's important to understand the volume of a sphere and how that's going to help you have a better understanding of that three-dimensional shape. So let's imagine that you have a sphere, and that sphere is made of glass. And it rolls off of that table, and it falls and it breaks into a bunch of little shards of glass. But those shards of glass are in the shape of a pyramid. That's not a great pyramid, but let's just pretend it's a little pyramid. Now, in order for you to figure out the volume of this sphere, you're going to need to divide and make sure that each one of these pyramids are perfectly equal with the exact same base and height. Now that vertex of the pyramid, remember this little point here, is going to coincide or be aligned perfectly with the center of the sphere. And you're going to continue this pattern all the way through the sphere. Now these aren't perfectly sized, but just imagine that they are. And once this entire sphere is made whole again, so we're just going to fill it up with yuckiness here, you will have the volume of the sphere. Now, this is a better image, but you could see these perfect pyramids. And we are aligning them here at the center. And when all of this area is full, we will be able to find how much or the volume of the sphere. Now, the volume tells us how much space is inside of it. It's hard to look at the sphere and just think, how much is in there? Well, we don't know if it's made of foam, do we? It's hard to consider that. Or even if I say, what's the volume of that basketball? Or how much air is inside? That becomes even more intriguing, but kind of hard to wrap your head around. So that's where the formula comes in handy. So here's the formula for the volume of a sphere. And that this V here is volume. Okay, so how much is inside of it? And then over here, we have the R, and that R means the radius. So the distance, remember the radius is that perfect little spot in the middle, the distance from the center to the outside edge. And then of course we have pi, which for the purpose of this teaching video is 3.14. So here's my sphere. Here is the formula, a prettier version of the formula. And now we're going to plug it in. We're going to break it down. We're going to pretend that the radius of this sphere is 3 centimeters, okay? And so we have to plug it in. Remember, we're going to multiply, or I should say cube, the 3 centimeters. So 3 by 3 by 3, so is 27. And then we're going to take that 27 and we're going to multiply it by pi, which is 3.14. And that gave us a total, or a sum, of 84.7827. Now we take that and we multiply it by 4/3, which equals out to be around 113 cubic centimeters. And when we're talking about the volume of our sphere, we're talking in cubic centimeters.